Coffee time. HR is not your friend. Neither are your coworkers. Here's what nobody tells you. Hello, everybody. I'm Soul Seth, and today I'm going to say something that a lot of you probably already know deep down, but nobody ever wants to say out loud. HR is not your friend. And your coworkers? A lot of them aren't either. Now, I know that sounds harsh, and I know some of you are going to push back on that and sit in the comments, and that's fine, but stay with me. Because understanding this one could protect your job, your reputation, your mental health more than anything else that I could tell you. And I learned this the hard way in a recent work situation. I want to make sure you don't have to, okay? Let's start with HR. Because I think a lot of us go into our first job thinking HR is like the employee protection department, that people are here to make sure that you're treated fairly. HR exists to protect the company. That is their job. That is what they are paid to do. Every conversation you have with HR, every complaint you file, every time you walk into that office and share something personal about your work situation, that information goes into a little file. And that file belongs to the company, not to you. You probably could subpoena that or get a copy of it, I guess you would say. But that doesn't mean every HR person is evil. Some of them genuinely care, or they can fake it. They're really good at faking it, by the way. But even the ones who care are operating within a system that is designed first and foremost to limit the company's legal and financial exposure, not yours. Truth number one, they will share what you tell them. When you go to HR with a complaint about a coworker or a supervisor, do not assume that conversation is confidential. They may tell your manager, they may tell the person you complained about. They are not bound by the same confidentiality rules. You may assume, but you can say, often it does go back to the very people that you reported about. Truth number two, they will build a case if they need to. If a company decides they want to let someone go, HR's job is to document a paper trail that protects the company from a lawsuit. Suddenly you might notice more performance reviews, more documentation, more write-ups. If that starts happening after you file a complaint or after you submit medical paperwork, pay very close attention. That's not a coincidence. Truth number three, making your complaint difficult is sometimes intentional. If you ever tried to file an internal complaint and the process felt confusing, exhausting, impossible, that's not on accident. When HR makes it hard for you to complain and you give up and go away, the problem is solved from the company's perspective, especially if you're a person with a disability that affects how you communicate under stress. That obstruction has a name to it. It's potentially legal or illegal. Truth number four, separation agreements are HR's tool, not yours. If you ever got handed a separation agreement with severance attached, understand what this is. This is the company paying you to go away and quietly sign away your rights to sue them. They're not being generous. They are managing risk. You have the right to take the time to review it. You have the right to consult an attorney, and in most cases involving age or disability, you have at least 21 days to consider it and 7 days to revoke it if you're signing it. Don't let anyone rush you. Now I know you got bills to pay and you're probably going to sign that separation agreement. And let me personally tell you off script that you don't always have to sue somebody. You can file complaints. You can sue the people who defamed you. You can sue the individuals. You don't have to sue the company. There are other ways. Consult with an attorney. Now let's talk about coworkers. This one's harder because coworkers can feel like family. You spend more time working with these people than almost anyone else in your life. You share meals, you share ideas, you share stress, inside jokes. Feels like trust. Here's what I need you to understand. Your coworkers have their own survival instincts, and when things go politically complicated at work, that's where the complaints, investigations, and terminations are involved. People protect themselves first, even people you considered friends. Warning number one, what you say at lunch can end up in HR. Venting to coworkers feels safe. It feels human, but anything you say about your complaints, your health, your frustrations with management can be repeated, sometimes accidentally, sometimes not. Assume that anything you say at work to anyone at work can end up in a file somewhere. Warning number two, Coworkers can be used against you. In a recent work situation I experienced, coworkers were used to misrepresent my behavior and my performance to management. Things I didn't do, situations I wasn't even a part of. And because it came from multiple people, it looks credible. To me, that's a conspiracy. But anyway, that's a real tactic and it happens more than you think. Warning number 3. Friendly coworkers, they may not be witnesses when you need them. The coworker who agreed with everything you said and about how unfair things were may suddenly not remember that conversation when HR asked them about it. People have mortgages, they have families. They're not going to risk their job for yours unless they are very brave or very principled. Do not count on verbal support as evidence. I am not telling you to make you paranoid. I'm telling you so you can be strategic. At work, be professional with everyone and intimate with no one. You can be warm, you can be kind and build genuine relationships, but keep your complaints, your medical information, your frustrations, and your plans to yourself until you're ready to act. And when you report to somebody in HR, you go ahead and do it in writing, email. So there's a record and of when you reported it, who you reported it to, and if there's respond verbally, follow up with an email summarizing that conversation. Understand that HR filing a complaint is not the same as reporting to a federal agent. If your internal complaint goes nowhere, you still have the EEOC, the Illinois Department of Human Rights, the Department of Labor available to you. Those agencies work for the public, not for the company. And finally, know who your real witnesses are, not the ones who agree with you in the break room, the ones who saw specific things on specific dates that are willing to put their name on it. Those people matter. Now, one thing I've learned is that cameras make the best witnesses. In my situation, I went to HR trying to do the right thing. I tried to communicate a complaint through the proper channels, and the experience of doing that as someone with a disability that affects how I communicate under stress was itself part of the problem. I was not heard, the complaint was not raised to my supervisor, and never escalated, and I was, terminated. What I what I know now that I didn't know then is that the EEOC exists precisely for situations like mine, where the internal systems fail, where HR protects the company instead of the employee, where the people who are supposed to help you become another obstacle. There is a federal agency whose entire job is to be what AR pretended to be. Use it. This has been an episode of my Workplace Rights series. We've been covering the wage gap, FMLA rights, hostile work environments, and today the reality of HR and coworker dynamics that nobody prepares you for. If any of this series has resonated with you, share it. Not just for you, for the person at your old job who's still in it, for the friend who is scared to speak up, for the person who thinks what is happening to them is normal when it's not. Drop a comment and tell me which episode hit hardest for you. I read every single one, so I'm Sold with Seth. I'm not a lawyer. Get professional advice for your specific situations. I have been through it, and I will keep talking about it, and we'll talk soon.